All right, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Smart Moves. We're continuing our coverage of the new card reveals for the upcoming Hearthstone expansion, Witchwood. And we're back with another, I want to say, near 20 cards or so today. So we're going to take a look at those and give our thoughts, maybe reevaluate a few things based on the cards that have come out, because I think at this point we've seen pretty close to half the set or so. There's still a couple classes we haven't seen jack shit for, like Mage. We got 2 cards still. So hard to evaluate those kind of classes, but we're going to jump in and do that. I'm Setsuko, joined as always by my co-host Slicky, who is finishing up some cup ramen.
I'm drinking coffee.
You got coffee? I've got Coke Zero. This is going to be like a thing in the future going forward. Like, we're just going to, this is what I'm drinking on this stream.
Yeah. Especially once I start drinking. But that'll be a ways off.
All right. Well, we're going to start with the neutrals, and we'll go from there. So, first up, brand new neutral is... Did we do this one? I can't remember.
Yes, we did that.
So it would be Witch's Cauldron. 3 mana 0/4 epic. After a friendly minion dies, add a random shaman spell to your hand. So, neutral card that gives you random shaman spells. What do you think?
I think it's pretty cool. I don't think it's going to see any play competitively. But...
No, I don't either. Oh, you could pull this out with the what is it? The meat wagon.
Yeah, and the other card we're going to talk about.
Wait, is the meat? Oh, yeah, that maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't friendly. We talked about this on the last stream. You know, the random shaman spells have a pretty broad range of uses, varying from like awful to great. Like big old board clears like Volcano are pretty great, and maybe something like I don't know, what's a bad shaman spell?
Totemic Might is bad for any class.
Yeah.
Isn't shaman.
So there's a wide variety, and I don't think we've seen any. Have we seen any shaman spells this set? I don't think so. So, as of right now, I don't know. I agree with you. I think it's an interesting card. I don't think it'll see any constructed play. Might see some meme deck play, though.
Yeah, I think I would pick it like maybe an arena or something when I just need a card that can generate value. But even then, it's like maybe if it's between some bad choices.
So you play this, then you play Unleash the Hounds.
Well, you know how good like Cult Master is in arena.
Yeah.
So I can see it being useful kind of there. Or if you're playing a token deck,
right.
You might put this in your deck just because you want to try to get Bloodlust, you know? Because if you're playing a token deck, Bloodlust is like the best token spell there is. So that's really about the only use I can think of for it.
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah. It'll be fun for trolled in videos. So, all right. Next up, we've got a set of Worgen cards. So we'll start with the low cost one here. Spell Shifter. 2 mana 1/4. Spell damage +1. Each turn this is in your hand, swap its attack and health. So It's either a 1/4 or a 4/1 with spell damage +1 for a 2-drop.
Okay, it's terrible. This is my first thought.
So you put this in Rogue, and then you can play Cheap Shot.
There are things I do like about it. There are very few 2-cost minions that have spell damage. Right. There's the one with Divine Shield. There's the Legendary that also draws you a card. There is the 2/2 that's in the classic. Well, it's in the basic set. and there's this now. So sometimes you do want just that extra and it is better than the 3 mana 1/4 with spell damage +1. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like it's if you were going to play that card, which I don't know why you ever would, you could put this in instead. Uh, but like I don't know, I'd rather just have a Duskboar or just have the 2 mana 1/1 spell damage card.
Yeah, with the Divine Shield.
Well, no, I was talking about the draw card, but it depends on the
Oh,
situation.
okay, gotcha. Oh, the legendary. Yeah, I agree. I don't find a whole lot of use for +1 spell damage cards like this, but it is a cheap way to activate that plus spell damage. So there is a variant of Burn Mage out there that just draws a bunch of cards and attempts to burn you down. I don't know. I think I still would rather just have the spell damage with the Divine Shield because then it's guaranteed to live through whatever size AoE, at least, the first one. So this thing, if a Flame Strike comes down, it's dead. The other one, if a Flame Strike comes down, okay, you're good. So,
Yeah, I don't think it's like a bad tempo card for a deck that uses a lot of spells to control the board early. But like sometimes with Shaman specifically, they have so many AoEs. I would slip in just a little bit, rolling that. I think it's the Air Totem is what it's called. Rolling
yeah.
the spell damage +1 totem can be really beneficial when you're playing a shaman. So sometimes I would just put spell damage in shaman because that's probably the class where it's the most useful. So I could see having maybe this in there, but like you're saying, like why wouldn't you just run the divine shield one?
Yeah. Well, is the Divine Shield one a 3-cost card?
No.
It's 2?
hmm
Okay.
I'm
I
pretty
was going to
sure.
say maybe there's the odd even thing to consider, but
I think it's 2, but I mean maybe it is 2.
well, next up we have Swift Messenger, 4 mana 2/6 Rush. Each turn this is in your hand, swap its attack and health. So you either get a 2/6 Rush or a 6/2 Rush for 4 mana.
I like this card. This seems awesome.
I think it's pretty decent. I mean, you've got the option of the 2/6 if you just need to clear some little minions and you want to have something on the board. And then you've got the option of the 6/2. That being said, I think that if your deck has a plan and a goal, then you're probably going to prefer one of these over the other most of the time. And I don't know that the flexibility is better than putting like a Reckless Rocketeer in, which is what, a 5 mana 6/2 or something like that, I think. But
Is
it
there
has charge and can go face.
right? Is there other artwork for this?
I think there's artwork when they switch.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
the
kinda
alternate version is the Worgen form.
Mm. Well, my first thought goes to Priest. There's that new card, Lady in White. You combine that with this, and then you just have a 6/6 with Rush, which seems awesome. Um, and any deck, I think, where you're going to be running the 2/5 with charge, you would just run this instead because it can also be. I mean, maybe Divine Spirit Inner Fire. I guess you could say is better for the 2/5. Stormwind Knight, I believe, is the card.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like you said, it just doesn't have charge. So, but I think sometimes just having that 6 attack, like Fireball is the best spell in the game, but it can also go face. But maybe you're trying to do a deck that has like no spells, like you're doing Spiteful something or other, and you need something that can clear on turn 4. So I could see this being used in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I think this is one of the better Worgen cards that we've seen, for sure. And then
I
finally,
think Indians were werewolves. Are they werewolves?
basically, yeah. And then at the top end here of the Worgen cards, we have the Gilnean Royal Guard. 8 mana 3/8, Divine Shield, Rush. Each turn this is in your hand, swap its attack and health.
I don't like this one
I
as
think
much.
I think it costs too much.
Yeah, because if I'm paying 8 mana, I would just put in Charge Devil Sword. which is almost the same card, but always has 7 attack.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to shield, but you can also like cheat it out maybe and get the charge off of it,
or in your Lady in White deck, it's an 8/8 Divine Shield Rush, in which
that's
case
true.
it's not bad.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to end up being a deck. Which I don't know why Priest needs any more decks except the Dragon and Operative
Right.
is out. But all of these switching things, if you can just get Lady in White out early and just have like 8/8s and 6/6s with charge, you would just own the board the entire game.
Yeah, that's a consistent theme that I feel like I'm seeing here, which is like Priest and Warlock are just getting more and more good cards, and the rest of the classes, it's kind of like, maybe, maybe something will come out of this. But
Well, I think maybe Kidler brought this up, but he was saying that Priest, at its most fundamental level, like its classic and basic cards, isn't that strong of a class, so they have to keep adding strong cards in each of the expansions.
right. But the shitty thing
And
about that is it just makes them super powerful and wild.
right, I can see.
Because if you already have a good basic set, then okay, you you don't get a lot of powered card or overpowered cards during the expansions, but then when it comes to your wild selection, it's like the variety is limited.
Yeah. Um. Hmm. Yeah, but some of the cards we're going to see today, I think, are really good for other classes. So
Yeah,
we'll just keep
yeah.
going.
I think it's gotten better than it was the last couple streams. And then the last neutral card is a neutral legendary. I think we got a couple of these. Like I think we had 3 left, and so now we've got 2 left after this guy. This is Dullmaster Dorian. 5 mana, 2/6. Whenever you draw a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it.
This
So
card's cool, right?
I don't like these kind of cards. I don't like weird combo-y cards. I know that sounds strange, but yeah, I don't. I guess for me, I don't like the cards that require like a ridiculous setup and your whole deck revolves around them. I'm much more of like a tempo play. Like I just want to play good cards on curve and maybe have some synergies. And I think like for this deck to be top tier competitive, you have to build around it like you build around a deck around like Barnes or something. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to play Barnes. I want him to pull this specific thing and that. And, the one place I've seen where this might be a little more generic is maybe in Rogue with Death Rattle. Because you could build a Death Rattle Rogue, which has lots of possibilities, I think. And then do like Roll the Bones and get a bunch of Death Rattles out. But that's kind of my thoughts. I'm not crazy about this card, but it's only because of my personal play preferences.
I think that's a hard line to draw though, because this card it will be used for a combo, but that's not to say that it has to be. I think you were talking to me about like Baron Rivendare, about how you like using that card, which is I feel really similar to using this card. You can use it for all sorts of things.
Well, and I
So,
also don't like that this card gives your opponent information.
okay, I could see that being important in some decks, less so in others. Uh, but like I really like Sonya Shadow Dancer, and this is like a more kind of proactive, less sneaky version of Sonya Shadow Dancer. And if you could put them in the same deck, that would be insane. Like you're talking about with Death Rattle synergies. But I think the place where this really shines is Wild, because Wild has all the good Death Rattle stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got Sludge
Yep.
Belcher and the 4/3 mech that summons.
Ragnaros.
You got Ragnaros, you got Kel'Thuzad. Yeah, there's just so much cool stuff you could do with this in Wild. So much broken stuff, yes, but so much cool stuff you could do too. You could do Stalag and Fugan. Like I did that deck once with like I think Hunter or something, and did like Cheat Death and just made a bunch of Thaddeus. That was really fun. No, I love cards like this. They're so much fun. There's so many cool things you can do with them. There's so many broken things, but so many cool things.
Well, and I guess that's where the line is drawn for me is like it's a card that you can do a lot of cool things with, but for it to be tier 1 or tier 2 or some, like a top tier deck, it's only going to be a certain select couple of things that you can do with this particular card for it to be that strong. And I think that's where it bothers me. It's like, yeah, this is a cool card, but if I want to, if you're wanting to play this in like Legend, it's probably going to be one or two specific decks. And it's like, you have to play this deck because all the fun ones suck or, aren't competitive at that tier.
I think that's more of a problem with the Hearthstone community, though, than it is with the cards. People are just going to make the most powerful things they can with any given card, and they're going to play those things.
Right.
I think what you're talking about is a very narrow band for the Hearthstone team to shoot for, like cards that are fun.
I agree.
So,
I agree. Yeah.
and also the artwork and the flavor for this card, so cool. Like, did you see the gameplay footage?
Yeah.
Like, he comes out and his eyes like glow, and then like these things pop out when you draw cards, and he makes little dolls of them. It's so cool. It's one of the coolest legendary animated cards I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So yes, I really like it.
I think it'll be fun to mess around with.
Blood of the Ancient One. Blood of the Ancient One.
But I do think that's I definitely feel like this is a card that leans more towards the kind of decks and things that you do as opposed to what I would do. So, but
what's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. You do some of this stuff like you did the Shaman Spellstone. Where you're like, oh, I'm gonna do all these what was it, earth elementals and things like that, and like.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the kind of thing that when I start to deck build, I just go, nah, I don't.
So what do you shoot for then when you're deck building? Like things that won't work?
Yeah, basically.
This has no chance of working. I'm never gonna sell out.
I got a deck full of spiders. I got, Deck of Wonders Mage or the stupid. Come on, dude. I made a deck that was all secrets.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a deck that's fun and silly and nobody else does, but also wins. I think there's merit to that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It'll be funny if I get this card and come up with some kind of cool-ass deck for it, though.
Yeah, but I think we have a 100% chance of this seeing play.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think it's that weird kind of card. It could definitely, there would be some kind of broken combo, or it just generates a lot of value. So
yeah.
All right, well, let's swing it over to the class cards and talk about these new Druid cards we got. We're going to go rarity order for these, so we'll start with the Witching Hour. New Druid spell, 3 mana. Summon a random friendly beast that died this game.
What class do we think this was for?
I don't know. We just said it looked like a quest.
Maybe Warlock.
Yeah, or Shaman or something.
I don't really like this card.
I was thinking if you could cheat out a beast or recruit a beast that was powerful enough that playing this, got you something pretty decent, then it might be pretty good. I was actually looking at this for Recruit Druid because I was trying to see, like, okay, well, what am I cheating out via Recruit that maybe I could bring back? Or I do play Tyrantus, and usually I play him and win, or I play him and they somehow manage to kill him. So being able to, like, if he's the only beast that I put in that Recruit deck, and it's like, okay, I play a 3 mana spell, and I have a Tyrantus back on the board that can't be targeted by spells, that's pretty good.
There's the combo. So you play the Puppet Master guy, then you play Curator or something the next turn, pull Tyrantus, you have a 1/1. Just kill it with Wrath or something. Witching Hour twice, 2 Tyrantus, you win the game. Bam.
That could be cool.
Uh, yeah, but this card to me feels more like what you're talking about in the sense where this is never going to be used except for broken combos.
Right, right. And I think
Whereas
so.
Puppet they could do both, but I don't think anybody would really use this card that much unless it was really cheap,
Well,
you know?
I think that so this is the way I'm looking at this card. Like even if you're playing like a beast druid or maybe say you're doing quest druid and all the beasts that you have are above the mana cost of this card,
Yeah.
then it's like adding another copy of that beast in there with a mana discount to me. And that doesn't seem too bad. Like it doesn't seem bad enough to not see play. Like if you're just playing, quest druid and you know that you're going to play I don't even know if it's a beast, but the dinosaur that was a 5 mana cost that adapts when you play it.
Oh, yeah, that card never sees play.
Well, say you are playing that.
Okay.
Um, you know, bad example because it has a battle cry, but you know, if you put this in, it's a 2 mana cheaper version of that. So I could see like if you're doing any kind of deck where your lower cost minions you can avoid the beast tag, and your higher cost minions you can, have some beast tags on there. Then this is okay. I played a 6 cost beast for 3 instead, and that's
Yeah,
kind of how I look at it. Like
I
it probably
think
will be used in broken combos, but it doesn't seem too bad in that generic area.
yeah, I could see this really easily fitting into a ramp druid deck where you're just ramp for the first 4 or 5 turns, then you got 10 mana, and then you start playing like I don't even know what are the big beasts.
Devil Swords,
Yeah, you can start
uh,
playing Devilsaur, Tyrantus.
Tyrantis. Is Hadronox a beast? But she has a battle cry. Or no,
I
it's a
think
death
she is,
rattle.
but you
Isn't it
wouldn't.
a death rattle?
It's a death rattle, but I
Yeah.
don't think you pick
No.
Hadronoxo unless you're already doing a taunt thing. But yeah, you could ramp. This would be a really good card for ramp because then you're just. But then you're getting into like a big priest situation where you're just reviving minions over and over that you've already killed.
Right.
Which, you know, I'm just saying that I feel like that's an archetype that this card creates.
Yeah, and I can see that. But that's what my recruit druid does anyway. Is it like kind of ramps up, tries to ramp into 4 mana to play Oaken summons, and then at that point, everything is 4 cost or higher. So if I could tune it to where the beasts that were 4 cost and higher were ones that I'd like any of them I'd be happy to get with Witching Hour. It doesn't necessarily have to turn into a combo druid. That's just another value card in there, I think. But I do agree, like a card like this would definitely be used in some kind of, it's essentially kind of like the recruit mechanic in a sense where you're going to want to get a particular thing out. You're going to want it to die and then double summon or whatever off
Yeah.
of this. So I can see that, but I do think it has some generic use potential.
Hmm.
All right, and our other druid card for the day, one of the druid legendaries, Dusk Fallen Aviana, and we did guess this one to be druid. It's a 5 mana 3/7. On each player's turn, the first card played cost 0. So, one quick note: the turn you play this, it is your first card played, so you won't get the 0 on the turn you play this. So your
So
opponent
you
gets the
don't
benefit
play.
first.
Right.
So what do you think?
Um, mm, I don't know. I to me this is kind of like Fandral, where if it stays out, you can do something really crazy with it, but it probably won't. But it's a lot bigger than Fandral. Well, I say a lot bigger. It's a little bit bigger than Fandral.
I feel
It's a
like
three
this is
seven.
this is just a backfire card. Like you play this and then the next turn you get pyroblasted or Lich King comes down or
I
you
think
know.
this is a skill card, though. I think this is
Yeah.
one of those things
Yeah.
where if you know what your matchup is and you know what you can do versus what they can do, you can beat them up. But like, you don't want to play it against big whatever. You don't want to play it against Warlock because then they're gonna drop Void Lords. Um, But I think the trick to using this card, though, is you recruit it or something. Or, you know,
Right.
uh, Ancestors. Well, no, that's a Shaman card.
This would have
But,
been a
you know,
beautiful recruit card, but of course it's
yeah.
5 mana. So, eh.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I feel like somehow it has synergy with Jungle Giants, but I guess not really. The first card played. Oh, I thought it was first minion.
Nope.
Okay, well, that's
Card.
different then. Okay, so, yeah. So if you could get this to stick for one turn, hypothetically, turn six, you could ultimate infestation.
Yeah.
That would be pretty epic. Um, yeah, no, this is one of those cards where one of two things is going to happen. It's not going to see any play except for me and you and people like us that are just like, I'm going to make this card work, like
Yeah.
Togwag.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be one specific busted combo that you can do with it, and somebody's just going to do that over and over. And it's going to become a tier one card.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think either you're just going to get punished hard by this almost every time, and because of that, it won't see play, or like you said, there'll be some broken combo, and this will enable it.
Yeah, like maybe, I honestly get surprised that people never play Temporis because, or, they never pick it from Netherspite Historian because if you have board control, especially in like Inner Fire Priest, it's so easy to just set up that 2-turn lethal, but nobody ever picks it. But I feel like Temporis is actually a little bit better than this card.
I've seen
But,
a good amount of plays recently. Watching some Firebat.
oh, is he playing Temporis?
No, I think people playing against him were playing it, but I've seen some highlight reels with Tim Porras as well, where he actually worked in favor of the person who played it. But
I saw one person who used Temporis, and apparently its effect stacks,
yeah,
like, or something. So the guy ended up getting 3 or 4 turns in a row
yep. I
and
think he I
destroyed.
think he got 3 in a row, and he just won off those 3. So
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
fantastic.
it's pretty pretty nuts. All right, so that's Druid. We got quite a few more Hunter cards. I think we'll skip Hunter for now. We'll look at all the new Mage cards. Oh wait, there aren't any still. Uh,
You think that's a good sign or a bad sign?
I hope it's a good sign. I'm pretty confident that the Toki card that's going to be revealed tomorrow is a Mage card, a Mage Legendary. So
I think Mage is one of those classes that has always been like tier two.
mhm.
Mage is never bad. Mage always has such good classic cards. You can always just build the deck out of those if you really want to. So I guess it doesn't really matter as much.
Maybe they're holding off because the Ice Block is going away, and they're like, we need to surprise them with all the new stuff Mage is going to be able to do. Or they're saying we don't want them to yell at us too hard yet. So
Yeah, it could be.
all
One thing
right.
that I was thinking about today, think about how much time they spend making these little gameplay footage reels for each one of their cards. Like they have to go in and manually program, okay, then this card is going to be the next one that gets shuffled in, then this happens. That's a lot of work for, this 50 or 60 cards they're going to make.
Yeah, but they're mainly just doing it for the legendaries for the most part. So
Yeah.
all right, we did get a new Paladin card, which I'd like to give the reward for most disturbing artwork. I don't. It just looks like a naked dude with an eagle head. like,
Oh, they
this is the Paladin epic card, Cathedral Gargoyle, 2 mana 2/2 battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain taunt and divine shield. So I'm still waiting to see. I mean, we got a lot of dragons and kobolds, but I'm waiting to see like a dragon or two be revealed for this set. Aside from the hunter one, that you probably won't have as paladin. So taunt and divine shield on a 2/2 is pretty legit. It's not
Yes.
bad. I mean, in Wild, I'm like, why wouldn't you just play Annoyatron? I mean, it's got one less attack, but it's guaranteed all the time. Um,
Yeah, but this, like, when I first really got, I don't want to say competitive. I think I probably talked about this in the last stream, but my first big deck, my first deck that I built that did really well, even though it was already an archetype, was Dragon Paladin. That was my favorite. It's so much control. You know, you get your bookworms, you get your dragon consorts, you get Nefarian, you get extra ammo. Uh, I really love the control style of Dragon Paladin because it walks that line between tempo and control. It's a really fun deck to play. So I could see this more as like a wild support card,
yeah.
which is nice. Um, I would play this in that deck.
Yeah, I
But
agree. I that's what I think. What I'm saying is like as far as standard goes, I'm kind of going what?
yeah,
You know. So I'm waiting to see if they show some more things, and it may just be that this card becomes valuable during the next 2 expansions coming up, or whatever comes out next year. You know, that's another consideration. Like, I think this is an overall pretty good card as far as the standard rotation goes. Maybe it isn't too strong this expansion, but if future expansions add some more dragons and things, it could definitely see play.
I think just Righteous Protector alone was so much trouble, but following up Righteous Protector with Cathedral Gargoyle would just make you want to throw your computer at the wall.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little bit too much for Paladins to just get this much early game protection. It's just going to make Call to Arms that much stronger.
Yeah, turn 1. This would be a crappy Call to Arms pull, though.
That's true. You would have to mulligan for this specifically, but then how would you mulligan for Call to Arms? Yeah, so maybe it'll bust up that combo a little bit. I don't know. Oh, my nose hurts.
Let's see. We got 1 new priest card. This is a new spell. It's a rare, Holy Water. 5 mana. Deal 4 damage to a minion. If that kills it, add a copy of it to your hand.
I think it's good.
Less RNG copy priest.
hmm Yeah, I think this is going to be a very annoying card. Like, this is going to be another one of those. I don't think it's going to be like a meta thing, but you know how it's going to be like a tech card.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to keep playing Void Lords or something, and then Priest is going to be like, oh, you're going to play your Void Lord? Holy Water. My Void Lord now.
Yeah.
And so I think there's going to be some really annoying things that Priests are going to do with this card. I think it's really good, though. I think it's way better than that little demon summoning card that Warlock has.
Or, I think it's better than the Rogue card.
Which one's that?
Deal 4, or what is it? Deal 3 damage if it kills a minion, or 4 damage. Gives you a coin.
Yeah.
Wanted.
No, I think this is a pretty solid card, all in all. There's so many combos that are gonna show up just on like Trollden, like you said. This is gonna be a Trollden spectacular card because there are going to be some broken combos that end up happening on accident that are really cool.
And you could use it on your own minion.
That's true. That seems like a kind of a last ditch effort, but yes, you could.
I don't know. I think a legendary with a valuable death rattle that's probably gonna die anyway. If you hit this, trigger the death rattle, get a copy.
Yeah, you could do Aviana, but or not Aviana. What's the Light Warden? The quest reward?
Oh yeah, Amara.
Amara, yeah. But normally Amara decks just run the bounce card anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
All right, well that's all for priests. Moving on to rogue, we got 1 new card. New rogue weapon. This is an epic 4 mana 2/2 weapon with lifesteal. And whenever you play a card from another class, gain +1 durability. Now, it is notable that for standard, a bunch of the Burgle cards are going away, so I'm kind of expecting either some more Burgle cards to get added or for this weapon to not be too great initially.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got really mixed feelings on this. Um,
I also hate how every rogue weapon essentially makes your hero power useless. Like, it's one of the most annoying things about rogue is like, oh, I have this weapon equipped. I got 2 spare mana on my turn. Can't hero power because my weapon goes away.
yeah, that is true, but I feel like your hero power is always supposed to be kind of a backup, anyways. So,
But I think in
uh,
just about every other class, your hero power is never really detrimental.
yeah, that's true. It's never really detrimental.
I mean, with priest, it's like sometimes there's nothing to heal, but
Right.
you know, just about everything else you can always, hunter goes face, you get some armor, warlock you draw a card, you know.
Yeah. What would be cool is if they made the uh, what is it? Poisoned blade effect like a spell. So every time you hit
Hmm.
your thing, it increased the power by 1 of your weapon.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty nifty.
But yeah, as
Um,
far as this card goes, I mean, lifesteal, that's great.
yeah, I don't
Uh,
think this is bad. Yeah, because I hate having to put lifesteal in a deck with Kingsbane. It drives me nuts. I only run 1 copy, and I mulligan for it because like the combo doesn't work without it. The Kingsbane doesn't work without lifesteal,
yeah.
but you also really don't want 2 copies because 1 copy is the only copy you need.
Yep.
So yeah, I hate that card, Leeching Poison. I hate it so much. So I really like this card,
Well,
Spectral Atlas.
and I've told you before, when I'm playing rogue, I'm always looking for ways to be able to heal myself. So having a weapon that starts with lifesteal just to begin with is pretty nice, and I think that in wild might be a nice alternative to putting healbot in your deck
Yeah,
because I end up putting that in there. Although I will say, healbot plus Valera hero power is pretty dang strong, especially compared to this. But
yeah. This seems more like a wild card to me. Again, Burgle and all that stuff,
yeah, and
Fairy.
unless they give us some more Burgle cards, which we still have quite a few. And we do have the Rogue Legendary. I'm really interested to see if that is the other hero from the adventure,
Mm-hmm.
and if
Prob
it's Rogue. I kind of hope it doesn't get wasted on a Burgle effect though. Like I'm
like
really not the biggest fan of Burgle effects in Rogue.
I like Hallucination.
Well, yeah, you get to choose
Yeah.
in that one.
Uh,
So
yeah, I don't know. What I'm wondering about kind of is maybe this is one of those cards that is intended for people who don't want to spin the dust on Kingsbane.
mm,
You know, like maybe they just open it in a pack and they're like, oh, I don't have Kingsbane. I can put this in a deck and get some healing without having to do the whole combo wombo thing.
right.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's a decent weapon though. All right, Shaman. We got one new card. We got Bog Shaper, which is an epic 7 mana 4/8 elemental. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a minion from your deck.
What do you think?
Well, I think this card is not horrible. I feel like it has a soft taunt in a sense where your opponent's going to want to kill it because otherwise you're just drawing cards. It's the same thing with Acolyte of Pain or what is it? The Priest card, Northshire Cleric.
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff where you're just like, I need to kill this thing because I'm tired of my opponent drawing cards. And in this case, if you've got Hagatha up and this thing is down, then you cast a spell, you draw a minion, you play a minion, you get a spell, you cast a spell, you draw a minion. This is going to let you pump out a lot of power onto the board and keep generating those spells. So I think especially paired with Hagatha, if that deck works, then this is a pretty cool card to have. Also, it is an elemental. so it may be able to fit in with the elemental deck and have some synergy. I don't know about the stat line for the cost, but that's kind of my only reservation about it.
I think I really like what they're doing with the cards that we're seeing for Shaman. They aren't overpowered and they aren't kitschy. They're just solid. This is like a solid 4 out of 5 stars.
And
It's just
they don't have overload.
they don't have this one doesn't have overload. But we already have what is the 2 mana card that lowers the cost of all the elementals in your hand?
Yeah, I don't know what
So
it's called, but
there's that thing. So you can get it out early or you can get it out cheaper. Also, this with Grumble, not so. I guess kind of my point is you play this next turn, you play some spells, then you Grumble, you get it back for 1, you can play it again, and you can do some more stuff. And I think this is. I don't want to say it's like a super duper combo-y card. I think this is one of those cards, kind of like Auctioneer, where under the right conditions, it can go a really long ways. But even if you don't have awesome conditions, you can usually get a little bit of leeway just getting it out and getting 1 or 2 spells cast, But definitely, if you're already ahead and you drop this and you have a whole turn to just cast spells, then you're probably just going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a decent card.
Yes. Decent.
We got a bunch of Warlock and a bunch of Warrior. So Warlock, Warrior, and Hunter. Let's go. We got 2 Warrior cards. So got a new Warrior weapon, the Woodcutter's Axe. It's a common 2 mana 2/2 weapon. Death Rattle. Give +2/+1 to a random friendly minion with Rush. So seems pretty good.
Yeah, this seems awesome.
I mean, this makes your Rush minions way more threatening, and a lot of the Rush minions look pretty good anyway. And so now if you're able to hit a buff on one of these guys, like, shit, man, you put this on the Militia Commander, so it comes out as a 7/6 charge on turn 4, or not charge, but Rush. Holy crap! You probably don't need 7 attack.
Yeah, you don't need 7 attack
against the 4 mana 7/7.
4 mana 8/8 Mountain Giant comes out of every cube block deck.
And then Crowley, he becomes a 6/5 now, so he has a much better chance of surviving and killing something and getting the +2/+2. I think this card enables Crowley to ramp up a lot easier.
Yeah, I think this with Crowley is just pretty awesome. And I mean, it's only got 2 attack, which is kind of bad because every 1-cost minion has 3 health now. But if you can combo this with any sort of whirlwind effect, which are plentiful in Warrior.
Little wasp.
Yeah.
A little ping wasp.
Little ping wasp. Yeah, I think it's a good early game control card. And, one of the big problems that buffing or, nerfing the Fiery War Axe is that's part of Warrior's identity is having an early game control weapon. And when they're relegated to just, 1/3 Rusty Hook, that's kind of bad. So it's good to have something instead of that.
Yeah. And then the next Warrior card is an epic spell, 6 cost. Reveal a weapon from your deck. Deal its attack to all minions. So kind of like Dragon's Fury and Mage in a sense, where you're revealing a card from your deck and dealing damage to the entire board. I don't think this card is very good.
I don't either.
I mean, pretty much to get a decent clear, you're going to want Arcanite Reaper or Gorehowl right now. And Arcanite Reaper sees basically no play anymore. And Gorehowl is only good in certain specific decks. And I don't know that you want to pay 6 mana to deal 4 damage or 3 damage or to the entire board, including your own stuff. I mean, warrior, and that's the thing. My thought was like, well, what if you had the 2/2 weapon in there and you just did 2 to everything? And it's like, well, why? You could just why would you pay 6 mana to do that? So I don't know. I don't think this card is good.
No, I think they're trying to fill the gap that Sleep of the Fishes is leaving because that was a staple card in Warrior. And I've been trying to do control Warrior decks, but I realized I don't have Sleep of the Fishes, and without that, you can't really do a whole lot. You can do there's the card they released in the last expansion, which is Reckless Fury,
Flurry.
I think. Flurry. Yeah. And that card is okay, but those are very. I was running an armor deck, and played that with Ironhide, which was, I think personally, that's a little bit better of a combo. It's 2 cards, but it's a guaranteed 5 damage to everything. You don't really want your weapons sitting in your deck, I feel like, on turn 6, because you want to use weapons to get the board. And you don't really. I don't know, like this whole equip weapon warrior thing, I feel like it's just too slow. I don't know. I've tried to make it work. I just can't. It's like you're taking too much face damage. There's not enough. You can do some armor gain, but you can't gain armor, do your whirlwind effects to make your armor gain more armor, do your dry whisker armor, equip weapons, and clear the board. You can't do all that stuff in one deck. I tried really hard, but it's really challenging to do. I wanted that Spellstone to work, but that Spellstone's terrible. It's so hard to make work. You don't want to equip a bunch of weapons just to drop, 2, 3, 5 5s on turn 7. I don't know. Like I just feel like they're trying to do too much and too little with Warrior at the same time.
Yeah, I think for this to be good, they'd have to put out a good weapon with high attack, and I don't think they've ever done 2 weapons for a single class in an expansion. So it's not very likely, legendary weapons aside, it's not very likely that we'll get a second weapon for Warrior. And even, I was thinking about it, even, in Wild, you're going to have... I can't think of his name, but the little 2 mana 2/2 guy that buffs your weapons, gives them +1 attack, I think.
Master something.
Yeah. And I have him, and I've used him before, but even then, I mean, that doesn't make this card good. Especially not if you have to count on drawing that guy and playing him for the buff, and then this is valuable. So, I don't know, it seems very underwhelming.
Yeah, I think there's too much, I just feel like there are too many mixed signals going on. Like, do you want me to equip weapons or not? Okay, you do want me to equip weapons. So now it has to be a weapon, so like Arcanite Reaper, which is a 5-cost weapon. So I have to wait until turn 5 to equip a weapon. What am I doing equipping a weapon at turn 5? And why is it still in my deck? Like, there's so many questions I have that don't really get answered by a card like this.
Right. I agree. All right, Hunter or Warlock?
I want to do Hunter. Hunter has the best cards. I'm not kidding. Do you not feel like this expansion is doing a lot of really cool stuff? Like maybe not the legendary, but they got some really good stuff.
All right, so we'll talk about it. So first up, common card, new Hunter spell, 4 mana. Dire Frenzy. Give a beast +3/+3. Shuffle 3 copies into your deck with +3/+3.
I like this card.
I like this card, at first read, I like this card, and I like it less the more I read into it.
One of the big things I really like about this card isn't so much the card itself, but it's something you and I have been talking about, and that's that they're making support for other archetypes. We've been talking about this control hunter that they've been trying to make. This isn't really a control card. This is something you slap on like a 1 mana card, like a fiery bat or something. So then you've got 3/5/4s that are going to pop up later on in your deck. That's pretty awesome. And you also don't have to do it with Spell Hunter, which was the big archetype last expansion. So this is something completely different. I mean, you could slap it on a Huffer, and that would be awesome too. But I feel like this is a more beast centric, like regular tempo hunter style thing, and they're offering support for it. That's one of the things I really like about it.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm at on this card. Like, a part of me wants to be like, I really like this card, and the other part of me is like, but, but do I? Like, what are the scenarios where this card is awesome? And
The big problem with this card is that hunters don't have draw.
right, right, they don't have card draw. I was thinking, maybe in that recruit hunter that uses Katharina Winterwisp, this might allow you to use a smaller beast for your recruit synergies because you get a small beast that has a good effect. You buff it with Dire Frenzy. Now it's in your deck, so when you play Katharina Winterwisp, you can pull it out, and it's a +3/+3 version, which is actually worth recruiting potentially. And that might be cool, but
That's pretty
that
slick. Yeah.
that seems, like more like a fringe case to me, I guess. And if you're playing an aggro hunter, you don't have draw. Like, it seems good to play this on a small minion. It gets buffed. You get more cards in your deck, but you have to be able to draw to those cards. And if they're in your deck and you never get to them, then that's pretty damn pointless.
Yeah, but maybe they're trying to do. I know this is a weird idea, but maybe they're trying to do a more old school hunter, like back when they used to run Cult Master and things like that. Unleash the Hounds. That was a pretty cool combo.
I I really don't think they're gonna try to do anything old school Hunter because old school Hunter was a freaking nightmare. And
Well,
they
they
saw
busted it
what
up though. They
they
busted it up. They
because
nerfed
they
it.
had to, and I don't think they'll ever go back to that because it was awful, awful.
Well, not necessarily just like old school, but you've heard probably the statistic at lower ranks, Hunter has the highest win percentage. I think there's a lot you can do with a really basic setup with Hunter, and I'm wondering if they're trying to make kind of a basic setup Hunter again.
Yeah, it is a common card, so
Yeah.
yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I think if I try it, it's going to be in that recruit hunter because I looked at my collection the other day. I've been playing this game since right after launch. I have one hunter legendary. One out of all the hunter legendaries of all the expansions. I have one, and it's Katharina Winterwisp that I just got this last expansion, and I was looking at it going, what the hell? Because I wanted to do the big recruit hunter, and I was like, well, I don't have Crush. I don't have any of these hunter legendaries. You know, I guess, I'm going to use, what is it? Charging Devil Sword or whatever?
Devil Sword, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I guess that's my option. So I
I
can't
yeah.
believe I have one hunter legendary.
Yeah, it's a different class for me, but I have the same problem with one of them. I don't remember which one. This might actually be good with a quest too, You put a bunch of little crappy 1/1s in, and you just occasionally pull out a 4/4 or something.
You can have a mega cute kitty.
Which kitty? Oh yeah, the what is that? Alley cat?
Yeah, but you would always put the other one in, right? So you can get the 1/1 off of it.
Stupid meme.
Yeah. All right. So next up on the hunter list, we got Wing Blast. So new hunter spell. There's the theme here between these spells for different classes. So this is a 4-cost rare. Deal 4 damage to a minion. If a minion died this turn, this costs 1.
There's the dragon.
Yes. I think this is a really easy condition for hunter to meet.
Oh yeah. Like
So
for warrior, right? It's awesome.
I think you can pretty much just consider this a 1 mana deal 4 damage to a minion. And I've seen some people going, oh, it's not going to see play, blah, blah, blah. Have you seen the Druid, what is it? Not Spellstone.
You're losing momentum. Come on, you can do this.
Yeah, it is the Spellstone. You know, you upgrade that thing one time, and it's a 1 mana deal 4 damage.
Right.
And that sees play all over the place in Druid. Granted, Druid doesn't have the best single target removal, but still, this is basically a super easy condition for Hunter to trigger in order to get 1 damage deal 4 to a minion. So if there's ever going to be any type of control Hunter at all, like a cheap-ass removal like this is going to see play, I think.
Yes, and that goes back to they are making Control Hunter a thing, which is awesome. Yeah, no, this is definitely going to see play. It's an awesome card. I don't know why you wouldn't play this, especially if you're running things like Unleash the Hounds already. Why would you not include this and Unleash the Hounds?
Or you've got your freaking Echo Mastiff in there, or any of that kind of stuff with Rush where you're just going to run it into something anyway. Boom, right. Run it into a 6 health minion, Wing Blast. That's a 3 mana, remove a 6 health minion. It's a 2-card combo, but it's Echo, so you can put more things down afterwards. But
well, one thing that really always sucks for me is when I'm playing Hunter and I'm trying to go face, and they put up a taunt, and then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to use a kill command to get rid of this taunt. That sucks. So being able to, like, I don't know, just drop my smallest minion into it and then Wing Blast it instead of having to use all that face damage from kill command is awesome.
Yeah, I think this card's good, for sure. So next, we got Toxmonger. Did we cover this one last time?
Yeah, I think we did.
I don't think
maybe we didn't, but it's awesome.
Or maybe it wasn't. I think we did cover it, but it wasn't on the Blizzard website. So I did show it on Hearthbone. So here's the next and last Hunter card here. It's Rat Trap. New spell, epic, 2 mana. It's a secret. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, summon a 6/6 rat.
I like this card.
I love this card.
Yeah.
I think it's very Princess Bride to me, is what it reminds me of. Rodents of unusual size. This isn't the card where I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this expansion, but I like the artwork. I like the theme of it. I like that it's a secret that you can play early on that will probably stick around for a little while, but I mean, this is as simple as minion coin minion, or when you're playing against priest, like, you're going to get a 6/6 rat pretty quick, and that's a strong minion to summon. A 6/6 is no joke, especially if it's between turns like 2 and 4.
One thing you could do that I just thought about, this is a weird idea. You could do in Wild, you could do Cold Light Oracle and start like burning the cards in their hand, so they have to get a bunch of cards out of their hand, and then when they do, Rat Trap, bam. But yeah, Hunter has gotten to the point where they have, like, anytime your opponent's about to do something, they're like, wait, I've got a secret for that.
Yep.
Which is pretty awesome. I don't really think Spell Hunter needs to get any stronger. It's already really strong. But this is an awesome card.
Yeah, I definitely like this card. And I really do like the art. Got some stinky cheese.
Is that a big rat? I can't tell.
Yeah, it's like it's not. No, he's on a rock. That's like a rock, and then there's
maybe he's
tail.
Trying to catch a bigger rat.
Or maybe he eats the cheese and he mutates.
Oh, could be. Yeah, it's sneaky Witchwood cheese. Oh, I think this gets back into something we were talking about before. Like, with the different classes, this is kind of a flavor thing. The different classes, like, some are going to be the townspeople and some are going to be the evil, witchy people in the woods. So I guess if you look at the artwork in that one, they're kind of in the town, right? So I guess Hunter is one of the more town-centric cards. They've got the Houndmaster, they got the Hounds.
All right,
They've got this.
we're gonna have to figure this out for all the classes after we cover the warlock cards.
Okay.
So we
So
did
Hunter's
get
Attempt.
a couple of warlock cards.
I have not seen
So
any of these.
all right, well we'll start with Duskbat. This is a new common warlock card, 3 mana 2/4 beast. Battle cry. If your hero took damage this turn, summon 2 1/1 bats. So it's a 3 mana 4/6, essentially. All beasts spread out over a turn.
This card's awesome. Wow.
I think this card is good enabler for a couple other warlock cards, like the 1/1 that becomes a 3/3, or your Dark Pact, or if you're in Wild, your what's it called?
There's Darkshire Councilman,
Your
Ravenous Pterodax, Unwilling Sacrifice. There's so many awesome things with this.
I can't think of the name. The
Which
1
one?
mana +4/+4 dies at the end of the turn.
Oh, Power Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's awesome. I don't think there's any argument that this card is awesome.
Well, you have to take damage on your turn, which
Oh, that's so hard for Warlock to take damage.
well, it means if you don't have anything else in play, then this is at least 4 mana. Like you play this with 4 mana, because you could Kobold Librarian and then play Duskbat.
Yeah, but you might not want to suffer a really big tempo loss because you're tapping a lot trying to get to your combo or whatever, and you're like, well, I only have 3 mana on this turn 5. What am I going to do? I've been tapping, trying to find my combo pieces. Oh, here we go. 4/6. Bam. Yeah, this is a spectacular card. Not that they needed any help.
Well, them and Priest. Well, we'll look at the next card up here, the Blood Witch.
No, I want to go back to the other one.
Okay.
Talk about that some more.
All right.
Okay. Also, this is offering support for an archetype that isn't popular. That's also cool. This is more of a zoo type card. And it's also better support for wild. It's no Q block, I don't think, would run this card. I think that'd be really abnormal.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
So this synergizes mostly, I think, with Darkshire Councilman, which is a wild card. So I like that they're doing this.
All right. You ready for Blood Witch?
That's all. Let's go to Blood Witch.
Okay. This is why. So this is a new Warlock card, rare, 4 mana 3/6, so nice stats. At the start of your turn, deal 1 damage to your hero.
It's okay.
It's definitely an enabler for many of your other Warlock cards, including the Duskbat.
I like the art.
Yeah, me too. This was one of the artworks they showed near the very beginning of the expansion announcements, and I think I singled it out and was like, oh, I like this one.
Does she have the right number of fingers? Can't really tell. There's a lot of maggots on that, though. Yeah, this is okay. I feel like Warlocks have enough ways to deal damage to themselves. And ever since the last expansion, there's been, I think it's Kobold.
Librarian.
It's the 3/6 that keeps your hero from being targeted. That's also a 3/6.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to see that much play because there's so many other ways to deal damage to your hero, and its stats aren't amazing. They're good, but they aren't amazing. So.
Yeah, and your opponent is kind of decentivized from killing this, which maybe not.
I think Warlock has so much healing that 1 damage per turn isn't really a big deal, but I can't see any archetype where you would put this card in because there are better options in most cases.
Yeah, I think that is... I don't think this card is bad, but I think Warlock just has too much good shit already. They really do. There's just... Anything
Especially
for Warlock has to be like Lord Godfrey overpowered.
Right. Or, they have demons, which are, it's like this, but better. Demons are these cards that have big piles of stats and negative effects.
Yeah.
So.
And they come back with Gul'dan.
So.
All right. And the last card is the Death Web Spider. New Warlock Epic card, 5 mana, 4/6 Beast. Battle Cry. If your hero took damage this turn, gain Lifesteal. I actually like this card. I saw a lot of negative reaction to it, but I'm just a fan of Lifesteal in general. In Wild, I play the 1/4 Demon that has Lifesteal, but that's because I can bring it back with Gul'dan.
That card's awesome.
And it can get buffed from Mal'Ganis and a bunch of other stuff. And it's cheap. So I think if I weren't playing Gul'dan, like Demons, Warlock, and stuff, I might consider this card. I don't think it's awful, but I don't think this card is good enough to see play in a serious constructed deck right now with the power level of everything else going on with the Warlock.
Yeah, I think that this card is very much a package deal with the last card we saw, just because this is 5 mana. Like I said, Warlocks can deal damage to themselves, but what are they going to do? Are they going to Hellfire and then play this? That you're talking about 9 mana right there. At 5 mana, it is kind of hard to, deal damage to yourself and play this and get good tempo off of it. So you might actually need that 3/6 from the last time just to play this. But I think it's an awesome card, though. A 4/6 with Lifesteal. But then again, the Worm never saw play, and that was a 4/4. So, I don't know.
Right. A 4/4 with no condition.
Right.
All right, well, let's do our... which side are they on? So we've got Townspeople versus the Woods, pretty much?
Yeah.
So...
Druid
definitely looks like the Woods.
Druid looks like the good side.
Yeah, like the good Woods.
Yeah. They've got the guide. They've got... Witching Hour is kind of hard to say, but they have Whispering Woods. I get that feel like from the first Harry Potter where he's got like he meets the centaurs and stuff.
Yeah,
and
they're like Disney Dark Woods.
Yeah. These are the good guys of the woods. These are the centaurs and stuff.
All right. And Hunter definitely looks like a lot of the townspeople. I don't know about Emerus. He kind of stands out as like,
Yeah, I feel like it's mostly townspeople, but it's like we're the townspeople that are going to go out into the woods and take care of business.
But then we literally have Toxmonger just being like, I'm a Worgen. And he has a spider, like a pet spider.
Right, and he's in the town. You can see his little town. So, he's a townspeople.
Or he's invading the town.
I guess that's possible. Okay, so this is like the spooky wood style. So
we don't have enough mage cards anyway.
They got animals though. Okay, obviously Paladins townspeople.
So far.
Yeah. Priest is weird. I don't know.
I mean, I would go with, spooky woods.
Yeah, I would say like spooky resurrected things that are coming out of the woods. Like Lady in White's a ghost.
Coffin Crashers, undead.
Some sort of undead zombie that's coming out of the...
Vivid Nightmare is affecting the Worgen. Well, here's the other thing. The Worgen, yeah, you're right. Worgen doesn't mean... Like, the Worgen are the townspeople. Because they are... Gilneas is the town of the Worgen, so... In this case, the Vivid Nightmare is messing up the Worgen, so...
So I feel like Priest is the magic of the woods and how it's affecting the town.
It's definitely Team Woods. Team Woods.
Yeah. Rogue. Rogue's both.
I can't tell.
I mean, Wanted is town. Cheap Shot's town. Cursed Castaway is like harbory boat. Spectral Cutlass is...
I think we gotta see the rest for Rogue. Like, it's very split right now.
Yeah.
Like, Face Collector is not a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, just walking through town. There's the Face Collector.
Yeah. Shaman is obviously Woods. Team Woods.
Yeah, Shaman's as Woods he gets because it's got Hagatha.
Warlock is Woods for sure.
Yeah, Warlock is mostly woods except for Lord Godfrey, but I think
He's an undead dude.
oh, he is?
Yeah, he's undead.
Well, I think he came from like the WoW trading card game or something, right?
Now he's
Like his
in
armor
World of
did.
Warcraft. He's like a bad guy.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I'd say it's mostly woods.
and then Warriors got to be Team Town.
Yeah, Warriors Town. Yeah, Warriors definitely town. They're like the armory holders of the town. So it was pretty cool that they actually did thematically pick like, okay, these people are town.
Well, we're stretching. So what do we got? We got Team Town, Team Woods, right?
Yeah.
I only got one hand. You're gonna have to count one of them. I'll do Team Town. You do
Okay.
Team Woods. So we got 1 and 1. Team Woods. We don't know. Team Woods. Team Town. Don't know yet.
Woods.
Team Town. And Woods.
Woods.
Well, I don't know. I feel like out of all of them, Druid's probably going to be the one that's like in the middle. So
Yeah.
pretty.
It's good woods.
So maybe a pretty even split.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So anyway, that was quite a few cards. I think we should be back Friday for the majority of the rest of the cards. They haven't said anything about there being a final reveal stream on like Monday or anything like that, but they usually tend to do one and then have the card dump. So we'll be back Friday for the next. What do we got? That'll be 3 days, so probably another 15 or so cards, and yeah, I think if we do Tuesday again like we've been doing, that should be the card dump and everything, and we can finish up everything that's left of the expansion, have a better picture of what's going on, maybe talk about some of our favorite classes. I will say, you asked me this question before, I think, but I still don't have a card where I'm like, yes, that's the one I want to build decks with. So
Okay. So do we have a different question this time? We've been doing a question thing.
I don't know. I don't think I guess maybe based on what you've seen, what class are you the most excited for so far versus which class are you still holding out hope, like please reveal something cool, because there's not that many cards left. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think Mage would count because we've only seen 2 cards, but we've seen a bunch of Warrior stuff where it's like either you're excited because all this is here, or you're like, okay, there's like 3 cards left, please be good, because I don't like what I see so far, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like let's see. Most of the stuff's kind of boring as far as warrior goes. I Druid is definitely the class where I'm waiting for something to come in and make sense of this stuff, because there's a hand theme, but there's not enough reward for
Right.
a handful. So I feel like there's some kind of card that I'm missing that's supposed to come out and make all of this make sense, but I don't know what it is.
And for
Uh,
me, that class right now, not counting Mage because there's not enough cards, but I'm just looking at these Rogue cards going, please. These all just are utterly freaking boring to me. It's kind of like, I think Knights of the Frozen Throne might have been the same way, where like all the cards that came out, I just looked at them and went, I am not even remotely interested in any of these. And
yeah.
that's where I'm
Yeah.
at for Rogue. Just like, please have something cool.
Well, like you talked about last time, I think Rogue is really getting these are going to be the base cards for the set treatment.
Yeah.
And for class I'm most excited about, ooh, it's probably going to be Shaman right now. Priest looks really good too, but I feel like it's just going to stay more busted. But Shaman, I feel like, is going to become playable again. And that to me is exciting. I think Hunter's getting the most obviously good stuff.
I
So
think Hunter is the one that I'm the most interested in now. Like, this is, let's see, we get 2 legendaries, 2 epics, I think 3 rares and 4 commons. 11 cards usually, so they've got 3 cards left. Or so, and I just think a lot of these are pretty good, and I like the potential of them, but yeah, I'm still not super hyped for anything in particular, so maybe these mage cards will do the trick.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm glad they're done with the odd and even, so.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something I haven't even really been paying attention to when these cards
Right.
are coming out. Is this good for odd? Good for even? I don't know. I'll figure it out when we can deck build. That being said, you can already filter your collection by odd or even. You just type odd or even. So,
Sounds complicated. Yeah.
yep, they're gonna have to take away our deck slots. So anyway, that's a good place to end off the stream there. And like I said, we should be back Friday for some more cards. And until then, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.